Hi, everybody there in Facebook land. It's nice to see you today. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Today on Adventures of Things I'm Talking About because my daughter told me to, I'm going to be talking with you about something that she inspired me to relate to parents last night. As she was falling asleep, we talk a lot of breaking down the day, the weekend, and I asked her specifically, I said, what is it that you think parents should know about their kids? Like, what's something good that parents should know so they can feel better raising their kids? And something that she's related to me and my husband in the past, she has related to us that she really appreciates how we explain everything to her. And I said, well, give me an example. What do you really like? And she said, well, for example, if I said, why is that bird in the tree? I don't, or my husband, we don't just say that bird's in the tree because that's where it lives. We go layer after layer after layer deeper. It's the complex answer that she's seeking. That bird is in the tree because that tree is right next to water, and that water has the fish that bird likes to eat. So that being high up in the tree is a good way for it to rest and be able to see what's in the water, etc., etc. You get the idea. So because we give her that context, she has layers of understanding that go deeper beyond that's where it goes. And she really, really appreciates that. Excuse me. So when she said last night, you need to tell parents that that they need to explain things to their kids. And I said, well, can you give me an example? And she said, well, for example, and this happened because we had a horseback riding adventure yesterday. And we have family who's in Texas. The founders of Birth to Work, they are in Texas. And so we have some horseback riding in our past, but we were there with some kids who hadn't been before. And the woman who was in charge of the ranch was very, very clear about the rules and about not just propriety, but the strict nature of being around horses for the kids' safety. And something that she did so well was explain to them the why it was important to not run around, use an indoor voice, not make crazy movements and all the things. So my daughter last night said, well, you need to give them examples like the lady did at the horse ranch. And she's like, or if they're younger, maybe they say, I want to go to Disneyland right now. And then you say, well, we can't go to Disneyland right now, unless perhaps you're season ticket holders in Anaheim. Everybody else in the country can't go to Disneyland right now. And then then she says, well, then the kid bursts into tears, and parents have to just explain to them why, instead of just telling them no. So this was coming across from my daughter's realm. And I said, well, talk to me a little bit more about that. Like, if that was your kid, what would you say? And it was this fascinating unraveling, because she's something that we've done with her since she was very little. And this, again, goes all back to the Birth to Work experience. It's the Birth to Work leadership parenting. If you're a leader in a business, sidebar, if you're a leader in a business and somebody asks you why it is that you've made decisions to cut X, Y, and Z from the budget for next year, probably as a good leader, you're not going to answer because I said so. You're going to answer, well, here's the bottom line. Here's how these things were performing. This is where they were making money and not, and we can make that up or money up over here if we invest less, and we'll save money, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to offer a more thorough, layered experience or explanation, than because I said so. And so if your child says to you, I want to go to Disneyland right now, and your response is no, because I said so, that's a really unsatisfying answer for them. And even though they may not understand all of the details of why it is that they are getting the answer from you that they are, this nuanced answer, you owe it to them, and you owe it to yourself to more thoroughly think through the itemization of why it is or isn't working, or why that you can or can't do something, or whatever it is in the context that your child is talking to you about something that they want that they can't have in that exact moment. So if your child says, I want to go to Disneyland, you go, hey, I hear you. I would love to go to Disneyland with you. That is a great idea. And having the opportunity to go there is a really, really great one. But we can't go right at this very exact second because, and then you can discuss the cost involved perhaps. Going to Disneyland is a lot of money. And maybe depending on where you are in the country, getting to Disneyland is a lot of money. So you can explain the cost. That is something that you'll want to save for. And getting there not is, the cost of getting in, and then getting in and then wanting to have a snack, wanting to buy some ears, and wanting to maybe go in a second day and stay overnight. All of those things cost money. To have the experience that you want, you've got to save the money to be able to do that. Also, going down, if we say we want to go, that could be 3 or 4 or 5 days that we've got to take out of our life to get there. So by saying, this is something that I want, you say, okay, well, we've got to set aside time for the whole family. If your 3-year-old wants to go to Disneyland, remind them they can't go by themselves. They're probably not going to the bathroom by themselves yet. Like, the idea that they need to go, that they want to do that, is fantastic. It's something that they can rally the whole family around. They can take the credit for a great trip once you get there, but you have to acknowledge that it's a group think, right? It's a group experience. It's not just theirs. And so by having a fit or becoming unglued that they can't go right now is not being respectful to the rest of the family team that works really, really hard on a regular basis to make sure that the family's life progresses, that everybody has their job and their clothes, and that life is working. So one further example of this, I had a really funny experience once when she was 2, maybe 3, of going out to this sushi dinner with a girlfriend of mine, someone who was very well versed in having kids around, so there was no problem. Just 2 adults and a kid. And my daughter has always loved little sushis with avocado, sorry. And so she would take them and dip them, and they would give her this special sticks to get down there and all that. Anyway, she decided this particular night, for some reason, and I still to this day don't know why, she decided that she wanted to drink soy sauce. She's always very responsibly used her soy sauce. She reached in there and she pulled out, had the little cup, and she started like lapping it into her mouth. And I took it from her hand, I put it down, and I said, remember, the soy sauce is only for the sushi. And I left it at that. And then she kind of laughed and she reached for the whole container. And she said, I want to drink the soy sauce. And in that moment, I'm thinking, I have panic in my head, right? There's the motherly panic that goes, oh my God, if she puts her mouth on that container and starts drinking soy sauce, she's going to make herself ridiculously sick. And then there's a leadership parenting mother who's going, I need to give this child context for why this is a problem. And so I held her hand on one side that didn't have the soy sauce in it with my other hand. And I took my other hand and I held the soy sauce down, and I looked at her directly in the face across the table. I love you so much. I know that you love the soy sauce, but it's my job as your parent to make sure that you stay healthy and safe, first and foremost. Drinking all of this is not something that's going to be healthy for you. It's going to make you very sick, and I don't want that for you, and I don't want that experience for us tonight. I'm going to ask you to put it down, okay? No. Okay? No. So then I had to take it, and I put it down, and I said, thank you. And she became unglued, because children have little goblins in them that make them crazy sometimes. And she started crying and weeping. So I turned to my friend and I said, you're going to have to excuse us. We're going to need to step out. And so I picked her up, and as I picked her up, she started crying more and more and more and more. And we got outside, and I sat down in front of the building with her. And it just happened to be one of those moments where she lost her mind. And she screamed and she cried and she screamed. And for what it's worth, it was a place in San Francisco where there's lots of families, and every parent walking by gave me a, I've been where you are kind of nod. Like, it just was. I was holding her and she was thrashing around and so upset. And clearly it wasn't because of the soy sauce. But I bring up this example because that's one of those moments when over-contextualizing is not going to help. It's not the issue at hand that's causing the reaction. So you have to use your own good judgment as a parent as to whether or not going deep on the explanation is relevant. But I do offer or hope that this idea of really honestly laying the foundation for your reasoning to your child is something that you can take and utilize in your regular life, because there are so many benefits to telling them the honest truth, to laying a solid foundation when they are young. Younger the better, because then you just save yourself all the work of it later. Now she's 7, and when she goes to to go ride a horse, she understands the context for why we don't make loud noises around animals. Now that we're home, and she goes, I want to go have hamburgers tonight. And I say, look, we can't go do that tonight, and here's why. She's like, I know, because we already went to the grocery store over the weekend and we have all this food in the refrigerator that needs to be used first. Yes. So there's benefit to you to giving them all the information early, honestly, and then you bypass all the BS later in life. That's the story for today. Be honest, lay a solid foundation, and give your kids context and real reason for why what's going on in the world is going on in the world around them. That'll help them understand. We hope so much that you find information like this and all the things that we have available on birth2work.org valuable. That's birth2work.org. We have a wonderful Instagram page going if you also enjoy finding your news and inspirations on Instagram. That's the @birth2work handle. And that's it. Have a great day.